Hey guys, we're here at New York Comic Con, the Diamond Select Toys booth. We're here with my man Zach. We're gonna take a look at all these statues, selects, mini mates, all the products that we have here. New York Comic Con isn't New York Comic Con for me unless I stop by here. And Zach's nice enough to always be hospitable to us. And thank you for having us, Zach.
Oh, thanks for coming by, man. I appreciate it.
Let's take a walk and see what they got.
So here you can see our Kitty Pryde from Marvel Premier Collection statue. This is the first Kitty Pryde thing we've done in a long time. I think we did a bust way back in the day, and we did some mini-mates, of course, but this is the first full-size statue we've done of her, I'm pretty sure. So she's kind of cool. She's phasing through like a sort of a danger room wall down at the base there, and she's got Lockheed wrapped around her wrist. And we're showing this for the very first time. Nobody's seen this before. This is our first Resin Statue based on the Netflix series. We've done a bunch of gallery Pvc Dioramas. We've done the Daredevil action figure. And this is our first Resin Statue. This is him from the stairway fight scene in the beginning of season 2. He's got the duct tape on one hand. He's got the chain. Down here you can see our giant $1,500 Hulkbuster statue. We've shown this before. We had it at San Diego, and there are official images out there, but you can get a sense of really how big it is. When we sent out pictures, we put a baseball in it so people could see how big it was. I don't know if it really conveyed the scale.
How heavy is this?
This is the prototype. I don't know how much heavy the final one's going to be, but this is the prototype, and it probably weighs like, I don't know, it's got to weigh like 20 pounds. It's pretty heavy.
It's resin?
This one might have some fiberglass elements to it. I don't know. It's like, it feels a lot lighter than solid resin, so I'm not entirely sure. I could be wrong, and I'm not sure what the final material will be. I'm pretty sure it's going to be resin, but we'll see. Over here, you can see our cloak and dagger piece. We've shown this before, but I'm a big fan of it. I think it came out really great. And next to them, you can see the Punisher. This is our first Punisher non-TV Punisher gallery piece. And they went with an artist style on this. I see a lot of John Romita Jr. in there. Some people see a little bit of Frank Miller.
Classic Warzone.
Classic Warzone John Romita Jr. is what I'm thinking. And I'm a big fan of it.
This is, didn't you guys do a select version way back?
It was one of our first like 5 Marvel Select figures was Punisher, and that was based on...
Was that the pinball one?
It was the one with the pinball machine, the guy throwing through the Spider-Man pinball machine. And that was based on the artwork of Tim Bradstreet.
Yes.
Who did a lot of covers back in the day.
Yeah, but this definitely has that Warzone feel to it.
Yeah. Up here, Angela, I'm a big fan of this Angela piece right here. We haven't even solicited this one, so there's no official pics out there. But she's like got the 1 foot up, she's drawing the sword out of the scabbard. I think it's a really great piece. Here, of course, you can see some of our Marvel Selects. I know you love the Selects. These are resin prototypes still, but I tried to get a little bit of posing action in on them. You know, we got to glue them together at the beginning of every show. We aren't at the production sample stage yet, but I tried to get a little action going with Spider-Man and Captain America, so hopefully people appreciate it. I know that people like to have some good poses when they're checking to see if they want to pick up a figure. So I tried to give them a little bit more information to go on.
And the Iron Spider, he's going to have that metallic look. Final product will have that metallic look to it.
Metallic paint. People can look at like what we did for like the first Amazing Spider-Man movie. We did a metallic paint variation, which came out kind of like that. So yeah, this is, as far as I know, the paint's going to be as close to that as possible, but that is a resin prototype. I think it'll also have four arms. Right now it's only got 3, I'm pretty sure. And one of them must have gone missing in transit on the way from Maryland to New York. Down here we've got a new statue. Well, first of all, we got the Iron Man Mark I statue, which is just really, really cool.
It's a very large piece.
It's a very large piece. It's almost even bigger. This Thor with the lightning and the Thanos next to him from Infinity War. Very big pieces.
Now, Thor and Thanos, do they combine?
Well, they don't really combine. The environments are pretty much the same. They aren't meant to like connect per se, but they're meant to be of a theme, you know, to pair together. You know, they're scaled to go together. This is a new piece here. This is Ghost Rider. And this is actually a Premier collection, not Milestone, so it's a slightly smaller scale, but it's a pretty big piece with the motorcycle and everything. But so that's going to be like a 12-inch scale rather than the, 14 to 16-inch scale of of a milestone piece.
Which Ghost Rider?
I'm pretty sure he's riding the classic Danny
Ketch.
Not Ketch. Johnny Blaze
Johnny
motorcycle.
Blaze.
You know, Danny Ketch has that distinctive, you know,
He had a
front
different
scoop. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure it's a Ketch Blaze because he's got the. Some people like to draw Blaze with the blue outfit. I think this is meant to be a classic Blaze outfit. I have to ask somebody what the intention was. And also, a lot of this, the flame parts are going to be cast in translucent material.
That's what I was going to ask, if it's going to be translucent or light up.
Yeah. No light up. We don't do light up a lot. I'm sure we've done it in the past and on some of the replica stuff we've done, but it's not something we've done in a lot of statues. We did a line of Ghostbuster statues that were all light up. It was really cool. We did a firehouse that lit up. It was pretty neat. So these are our Marvel Gallery pieces, the $45 PVC Dioramas. You can see Shuri here, Iron Spider, Ant-Man and Wasp. Iron Spider will be out by the end of the year. And Shuri, I think, might be early 2019. Ant-Man and Wasp, those are actually production samples, so you can see what they're going to look like in their final format. Down below, this is the first time we're showing our unmasked Black Panther. So we're going to be offering that in the new previews coming up. And then that'll be an early 2019 release. That's the Iron Man Mark 50 and Mr. Sinister. We've never solicited the Mr. Sinister, but hopefully in the next couple months you'll be able to pre-order him. I really love the green base on him. That's cast in translucent material. It's gonna be really cool. I can't wait to do an underlight to that. Get some light under there.
Put some light under that.
Yeah,
that thing will look amazing.
Man. Oh my gosh. Down here, we're getting into DC. We're showing these for the first time. These are our Injustice video game, Harley and Batman. Harley will be holding the hammer. Right now, you can't really. It's ironically, this prototype is a little bit more flexible than most prototypes. So I got to figure out a way to get her to hold the hammer without dropping it. But it'll be more rigid in production. Batman there, and then next to them you've got the movie versions of Ocean Master and Aquaman. There will also be a Black Manta. Black Manta will be exclusively at GameStop.
Did you get a chance to look at the Black Manta suit down in the lobby?
No, I did not. Down by the DC.
It's phenomenal. It's a really awesome.
I've always been a big fan of the Black Manta costume. I haven't read a ton of Aquaman, but I love the Black Manta costume. So here's our Dark Knight Trilogy collection of DC Gallery pieces. Batman and Bane are up for pre-order now. Catwoman we're showing for the very first time. Nobody's seen her before. I think that piece came out really great. And the Joker is going to be up for pre-order later on this month. Down below we've got some, we've got Shazam, but we've also got some pieces from Dark Knight's Metal, the big DC crossover. If you don't know, it's the crossover where evil Batman from the dark multiverse invade Earth. What you're looking at is the Drowned. She was a female Batman, I guess a Batwoman you could say, and she, when the Atlanteans made themselves known to the people of Earth, she opposed them, and she realized she needed to fight them on their own terms, so she basically adapted herself to underwater combat, and she gained control of the Trench, which are the evil undersea piranha-like people that live in the bottom of the ocean, and she's like now basically an aquatic supervillain. And next to her you can see the Red Death, who is Batman after stealing the Speed Force from the Flash. He wanted to use it to go back in time and save his parents. I forget if he was actually successful in that, but I'm pretty sure not, because he still turned out to be a pretty terrible person. And he's one of the bad guys who comes over. And there's also a Green Lantern version, a Superman version, or a Doomsday version rather, a Wonder Woman universe version, and the Jokerized Batman is called The Batman Who Laughs, and that piece actually comes out next week. And that one's a really great. It's like Joker wearing a Batman outfit. It's pretty fantastic.
I love the armor on this. This is it's definitely a nice
it's a really nice piece. Down here we're showing Batwoman for the first time. She's going to be appearing in an upcoming crossover on the CW shows. So we're showing her off for the first time. You'll be able to pre-order her later on this month. Right next to her is actually Supergirl, who actually comes out, I think, in the next month or so. This is actually a production sample, so that's what she's going to look like in production.
You know I'm going to have to get this, right?
She's actually one of my favorite pieces in the line so far.
I love, myself, I like the way she looks, but also my daughter's a huge Supergirl fan.
Yeah.
And she saw pictures from, I forget which one it was that I took pictures of recently. And she's like, "Daddy, I want that." So that's a phenomenal piece.
Down here is the Batman that gets a lot of oohs and ahs when we show it off. Next to him, you can see the Flash, who is going to be a GameStop exclusive. That Wonder Woman is being shown for the first time. That's a classic Wonder Woman. We've never shown her before. And over on the other side, you can see our giant Darkseid, who has an interchangeable head, one with the kind of the crackle from the Omega beams coming out of his eyes. And next to him is Green Lantern. He's going to be a GameStop exclusive as well.
And it looks like Green Lantern has armor. Does that armor come off, or that's?
I don't believe it'll be removable. No, the way it's mounted onto the figure, it's going
to be all one piece.
It's kind of the mountings are kind of invasive to the figure, so you can't really take it off. It's going to be all one piece. The armor is going to be coating his body.
And these are all PVC, correct?
Yes, these are all the PVC dioramas. So these are all going to be about $45, which is the retail price. Here you can see our Legends in 3 Dimensions line of busts. Now these are about a 10-inch height across the board. For the humans, it's more or less a half scale, 50%. And we're doing it across all of our licenses. You can see Watchmen, you can see Cthulhu, you can see Robbie the Robot from Forbidden Planet. You can see the Muppets, you can see Pirates of the Caribbean. The shelf below has all the Marvel characters. Deadpool was the first one we released in the line. He's actually out there now, but Iron Man, Captain America, Spider-Man, Spider-Gwen, and Venom. Venom you can pre-order now. The other 4 have not been offered yet, but hopefully over the next few months we'll see the first few get released. We're
going to get the other symbiote? Get Carnage in there?
If Venom does as well as I think he did, then I'm pretty sure Carnage is going to be on the docket. But there's a lot of A-listers we want to do for the line. So.
And I like Rorschach because he's got it's texturized. It's not a flat sculpt on it. It's it looks like the mask.
Yeah, no, they did a really great fabric texture on that. Same with Spider-Man and Captain America. The texture is really cool. Yeah, it's a little finer on Spider-Man,
but it's there.
But it's there.
Yeah. Captain America, he's got the I forget what you call them, but
yes, like the scale
like the scales, yeah.
Down here you can see our DC, some more of our DC stuff. 2 Harlequin statues. We've shown these before, but they're going to be coming out pretty soon. I think by December we'll have both of them out. Our Batman Classic TV series and our Nightmare Before Christmas. There's another one of those legendary Legends in 3 Dimensions is the line. Legends in 3 Dimensions busts. Jack Skellington.
And you guys are the Nightmare Before Christmas doing really well.
Yeah, the action figures are doing great. We've got this is Series 6 that will hit this winter. And Series 7 and 8 are being planned out for next year. There's plenty more characters from Halloween Town to do, so we're going to keep going as long as the support is there from the customers. And we're also offering single packs of Walgreens, like you said. So there are other retailers who are invested in the line, so that's great. Star Trek, we're going to be doing the first 7-inch scale figures from the new movies, the Kelvinverse, which they call it. There's the Enterprise C, which is a ship that people have been waiting for a very long time. It's not from the Kelvinverse, obviously, from the classic Next Generation episode, Yesterday's Enterprise, I believe it's called, where the Enterprise C comes through a wormhole from the past, and the Enterprise has to go back in time and have to send them back to, die in a battle that they were never destined to win. It's one of the most highly acclaimed episodes of Star Trek Next Generation, and so it's a ship that a lot of people have been asking for.
This might sound a little off, but I didn't know there were different versions of the ship. I really didn't, and I know I'm gonna get killed by the Star Trek fans, but it looks phenomenal though.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, there's subtle differences to all of them. We've done the Enterprise, the original series Enterprise, and then we did the Enterprise refit, which is what they called it when they redesigned it for the movie, and then we did the Enterprise A, which is what they called it when they rebuilt it for Star Trek at the end of Star Trek 4, beginning of Star Trek 5, and then you got the B, which appeared in Generations, and you got the C, which was only in that one episode of Next Generation. The D was the original ship in Next Generation. Then they updated it to the E after one of the movies, and we've done all of those except for the C.
And you just schooled me. I had no idea there was that many ships.
Yeah, I got to know about all of them. I mean, I watched a fair amount of Star Trek, but I got to know about all of them. But I'm really excited about the 7-inch scale Kelvinverse figures because based on the J.J. Abrams books, these are specifically from Star Trek Into Darkness. and they're going to come with a ton of weapons, blast effects, communicators, tricorders, interchangeable hands. You know, hopefully people dig them. There haven't been any really good toys from those movies.
The articulation looks good on them.
Yeah. No, we're talking
lot of art,
full articulation. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21? I'm probably miscounting, but I see 21. So it's not bad. It's not bad. John Wick, I'm very excited about. These are the first 2 PVC dioramas we're going to do. One based on the second movie, right before he fights Common, and the other one is based on the first movie. That one's still pending approval. The one where he's coming through the door. And we're going to be doing a select action figure, fully articulated with the dog. These are our Mini-Mates, the 4-inch vinyl figures. And the Predator, we're going to be putting out a Mini-Mates box set from the Predator.
Did you see the Predator?
I have not seen it yet.
No.
I'm very much looking forward to it. I know that it hasn't been everybody's cup of tea. I may not see it right away, but at some point I will see it, and I will set my expectations appropriately, and I will take it on its own merits.
I liked it. I personally liked it.
Excellent. I'm glad. I've heard mixed reviews, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing it. But I like fun movies. These are Kingdom Hearts PVC dioramas. These are going to be exclusively at GameStop. The first 2 I think are out now, Goofy and Sora. And then these will be the next 2. And Kingdom Hearts Mini-Mates, we just released the second series of these. So we've got 12 different figures out now. 14 if you count the 2 we released at Toys R Us, exclusively at Toys R Us. And next up is a Light Cycle that's going to be coming out at the beginning of 2019. With Sora in his Space Paranoids look. And then there will be a Series 3. It's in the planning stages. We've got some Mini-Mates here that haven't been released that may be part of Series 3 or may end up being part of Series 4. We'll have to see. And then down here we've got the select action figures for Kingdom Hearts. We've got Tron and Sark, and we've got Space Paranoid Sora and Space Paranoid's Goofy, and we've got Mickey in his Evil Organization 13 garb with a Shadow Heartless and an Assassin Heartless. So it's a really cool wave. I'm really excited to get it in my hands. Some of those are actually production samples, so I'm going to be stealing those, I think. And next to them you can see our Mini-Mates, the three heroes from Halloween in their Halloween Town looks.
This was one of the first things I saw when I came by the booth yesterday. Yeah. Lady Death.
She's very striking.
Yes. An amazing piece, and just reminded me of when I was a kid, when the comics were out, and there were figures back then. I don't know if you remember it. Yeah, no, one of some of the first action figures that Diamond Select Toys ever made were based on Chaos Comics. Yes.
We did a Lady Death in armor. We did, I think it was in armor. Maybe it wasn't the armored version. I may be getting it confused with another one. It was before I was working at Toy Fair at the time. It was a long time ago. But we did, Purgatory and Evil Ernie.
Evil Ernie the Clown.
Yeah, so there was a lot of different characters from that universe.
This is definitely a surprise to see.
We've done actually a few of these PVC dioramas as part of our Femme Fatales line, which is sort of a precursor to the Gallery line. Once we started doing guys, it didn't make sense to call it Femme Fatales, so we came up with the Gallery name. But we've done a few different Lady Deaths, and all of them have sold out. Yeah? Yeah. And
I wonder why.
Yeah, no, she's a good-looking lady, and our sculptors are top-notch. I want to say this. I want to say this is another Sam Greenwell piece.
Okay.
And that's our alien letter opener, designed and sculpted by Eli Livingston. Yep. And the blade of the knife goes down the throat, and the tongue comes out of the mouth, and it's just a really cool piece. And that's our Swedish Chef action figure. We reformatted it from being a select to a deluxe select, and the deluxe select will come in a small window box with an opening flap. With a bunch of accessories. With a ton of accessories.
I think that's the most accessories I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's a little bit more expensive than a regular select figure, even though the packaging is a little bit smaller, but it's just due to how much it comes with. It's a lot of stuff. So this is our Pacific Rim line. You can see the Series 3 action figures surrounding our Hakuja vinyl. The Hakuja vinyl is about $45. It's going to be again in a window box, but the selects will be in their select packaging, $25 each.
This is going to have a lot of articulation, right? You said
21 points of articulation. I counted them up just a little while ago. A lot of it is pivot points, but there are a few ball joints, the shoulders and the neck. And yeah, I think people are going to really enjoy it. I've shown it, I pulled it out of the case to show some Godzilla toy experts, and they seem very pleased with it.
It's Godzilla approved.
It's got Kaiju tested. It's Jaeger approved. And next to it, you can see our PVC diorama, the gallery over there, of him above the ruined building. I'd love to just get some dioramas of that ruined building, because it's just a really cool piece. And over here you can see our deforms, which are super cute, super deformed little chibi PVC figurines. They're going to be blind boxed, and there are like there are 7 different styles to collect. A couple of them are variants of each other.
There's going to be chase versions.
Yeah, like there's two of all the basic, each of all the basic versions, and then one each of the chase, which is the translucent translucent Raijin Kaiju and the metallic solid metallic Gypsy Avenger. Down here you can see our Sonic stuff. We've got the 2 gallery PVCs coming exclusively to GameStop on either side there. You can see Tails over here. We're getting a lot of positive reactions from the Sonic fans for the gallery PVCs. The Mini-Mates are going to be a box set. Series 1 is in the front, and Series 2 is up on the shelf. Sonic is going to be part of Series 2 as well.
Now these are a little bigger than the regular Mini-Mates, right?
Well, they're bigger just due to all the sculpted parts. You know, the heads are a little bigger than regular Mini-Mates heads. You know, Tails has a giant tail. We added some leg extensions to Dr. Eggman, because he's a little taller than everybody else and has sort of a really distinct body type. But yeah, they're just because of their giant heads and hair, they do come out a little bigger, and their hands are bigger in a lot of the cases too if they have big hands. It was a challenge to adapt to that Mini-Mate style, but I think the designers did a really great job. Same with the Mini-Mates, which are these are only articulated at the neck. DC ones aren't articulated at all, but all the other Mini-Mates we do have neck articulation, so you can really, even though this is a static pose, you can really change up the feeling of the figure by moving the head around and pointing in different directions. It's the real Ghostbusters figures. There's a lot of fan anticipation for these. The ones on 3 on the left will be out in November. Slimer, Winston, Egon, and those are actually production samples, so that's what they're going to look like. And Ray, Peter, and the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man will be out in January. And that's a fully articulated Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I tried to show that he had a little bit of action to him. And so that one will be out in January. That's our first articulated Mr. Stay Puft.
Now, Stay Puft is going to come in the regular blister card that most of the selects come in, or is it going to come in like a box?
All of these will be in select packages.
Okay. All right.
And that's it. That's the booth.
All right, so I was looking at everything over there, and I saw Mr. Sinister.
Yes.
That's a new piece.
Yep.
You haven't shown that before.
We showed it at San Diego, but we haven't offered it to retailers and customers yet. So we know it'll be $45, but we haven't announced when it's going to come out or how people can get it or anything like that.
For me, that's awesome, because for how many years have I always asked you about Marvel Selects and a lot of the X-Men characters? Does that mean that a lot of the licensing rights are starting to open up a little bit with what's been going on?
I don't think anything's changed. I mean, we've still been doing X-Men action figures. We just announced Beast and Rogue. But I mean, even before that, I think we've done some X characters. Hopefully, that changes in the future. We're happy to just be doing anything Marvel, really, because we've been doing Marvel since 2002. And we're just happy to still be in the business.
Now, another brand just finished their complete Fantastic Four.
Yes.
And that was an issue for a while for a lot of companies, where the rights were kind of held up. One thing I've asked you about before, the Watcher, that was tied up in the Fantastic Four realm.
Yes.
Is there any plans to finally re-release that?
I think we're taking a wait and see to see what we can do and when we can do it. But I'm sure that once we know that, then we'll take another look at the Watcher and see if it still makes sense to do a re-release, and you know, if we can do it in the numbers that we want to do. And you know, I'm not saying that we're, you know, that next year we're going to do a full Fantastic Four team or anything like that, but re-releasing the Watcher is certainly something that we've been wanting to do for a while.
Is it? Would you like to be able to? Because you've done the Thing. Right?
Yeah.
The Thing was a nice piece.
And we did Dr. Doom, of course.
Doom, but
Silver Surfer.
Yeah, we've seen some of them. We haven't seen the complete Fantastic Four.
No, absolutely not.
Is that something that you would like to?
Me personally, I'd love to get everybody. You know, I'd love to get the full team. You know, whether that makes sense for, you know, the limited number of slots we have and the limited number, you know, of figures we produce. You know, it may not make sense to do something like an Invisible Woman, because we need everybody, you know, to really knock it out of the park. And you know, maybe Mr. Fantastic and Sue Storm wouldn't necessarily do the numbers that we would need them to do. But it's not a question for me. It's a question for, you know, for Chuck. He's not here right now, or I'd pull him over and ask him what he thinks. But you know, it's a question that people can ask on Ask PST, and he'll answer it on our blog, or come to one of our panels at any convention, and he'll be able to talk to you about that. But
and that's awesome. The blog. Since you bring that up, you always, people ask questions, you answer it the best you can. I like that. That keeps you in touch with the fans.
Yeah, no, Chuck is honest and pretty clear about what he can and can't do, and what he thinks is realistic. And some people, you know, have an issue with him saying never say never, but you know, he doesn't like to close the doors on things if it's something that he'd like to do and something that may eventually one day happen. You know, he's not trying to lead anybody on. He's just trying to, you know, maybe keep hope alive. You know, as opposed to just shutting people down. Because he shuts people down enough on licenses that he thinks are never going to happen. You know, like Star Wars or something else like that. You know, people want posable Star Wars figures or posable DC Comics action figures, and you know, the likelihood of anything like that happening is slim to none. But you know, anything else, you know, restarting a line that seemed to be dormant or something like that, any of that is possible.
And now that's the Star Wars. That's because that's kind of locked up elsewhere, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Hasbro's a master toy licensee for Star Wars and for Marvel. So I mean, it certainly affects what any company can really do in terms of posable figures or anything like that. You know, same with
scale has to be a certain scale.
I think it might have more to. Scale is probably an issue. Price is probably an issue. I don't really know what the restrictions are. We're not really doing any Star Wars right now, and our Marvel stuff is, you know, again, we've been doing it since before Hasbro was doing Marvel stuff. So we don't necessarily have the same restrictions that other people might. But you know, there are restrictions when you're dealing with a master toy licensee if you're, you know, looking to do parallel licensing, and it's you know, it certainly affects what other people can do. But you know, luckily it seems to be in the hands of companies who are trying a lot of different things. So that's good for collectors. And you know, if someday we get a chance to play in that yard again, that'd be great.
Beast just came out. That was Gene St. Jean.
Gene St. Jean sculpt. Yeah.
He's a little bigger, but excellent job on it. The Danger Room piece. Is there? I know you can't say official, but would you like to do more X-Men to add to that Danger Room?
Aside from Rogue, who comes with more Danger Room pieces, I guess we'll see how she does. You know, some people, you know, say, oh, that's not true, but female figures actually do not sell necessarily as well as male figures.
Really?
It's actually a real thing. That's why, you know, you see the female characters in certain waves at other stores are maybe split between two different women because they are pretty sure they're going to sell half as many of each. But you know, we've certainly seen that happen, and I don't think it's due to the characters we're choosing or necessarily, you know, the execution. I think it's, you know, it might have something to do with just the fact that maybe the toy collectors aren't necessarily there for those.
How
figures.
Lady Deadpool and Gwenpool kind of do.
Well, we didn't do a Gwenpool action figure.
Or not Gwenpool, I'm sorry. Spider-Gwen.
Spider-Gwen. I think I would say that those two did not sell as high numbers as some of the male figures we did. But, you know, I think Rogue will do real well. It's something people have been asking for a long time.
She's classic.
She is classic. we'll see how she does. If she does well, then there are other X-Men that we've considered, male and female, that we'd certainly like to do. You know, Chuck is a product manager for Marvel Select, and he loves the X-Men and he loves Spider-Man. So, you know, anything in those two universes is fair game. And we've certainly hit the Avengers pretty hard. So when it comes to comic stuff, well, you know, we hit the Avengers movie-wise certainly, but when it comes to comic stuff, you know, we definitely like to, you know, be more inclusive and get to people that we haven't necessarily been able to get to otherwise.
I know we've seen we did a X Factor style suit for Cyclops way back. It was an alternate.
Yeah, but variants are a thing of the past, unfortunately. But go ahead.
You've also done multi-packs, like for Disney Store.
Yeah, we did do.
Is the multi-pack something that kind of you don't see yourself doing?
If Disney came to us tomorrow and said we'd like a multi-pack, I'm sure we wouldn't say no, but you'd have to ask them how the sets did for them. I mean, it's certainly a higher price point.
Of course.
It's a lot less manageable for just a consumer in general. When you're talking about a $50 or $100 set, you know, they've experimented with a $100 set, they've experimented with a $50 set, and you know, whether they think that's something that they want to do again. They haven't. We haven't done one for them since then.
Since the Spider-Man one, I think, right?
Since Spider-Man Electro, but the first one was Green Goblin, Lizard, Spider-Man, and Agent Venom.
Agent Venom, yeah.
And Lizard and Agent Venom were new, and then they ended up doing them as single-carded figures. Also the Electro as well. But you know, I think if they wanted to do one, they do. You know, we would do one for them, absolutely. But it sounds like, you know, that's not really something they're. You know, the next 3 exclusives that I'm aware of for them are all single packs.
All single packs.
Yeah. So next four.
Tell Chuck I would like to see the Danger Room pieces. Without the figures. All the Danger Room pieces sold as a set, so you could create a diorama.
Well, you know, I mean, doing licensed dioramas, I think, would be something that would be outside of our current licensing. So it would be tricky if we were doing actually like, this is the Danger Room and this is the diorama, and then you got to deal with, you know, licensing from Marvel, and then you got the Master Toy licensing and stuff like that. Whether we have the rights to do dioramas or whether it would be considered an action figure, or probably not. To do generic dioramas and sell them separately, I don't think it's anything that we've really been looking to do. I mean, we've been making them for a long time, and it's just it's never something that we've broken out. We did one diorama, a library diorama, a long time ago that we weren't able. That we did okay. It was a Buffy the Vampire Slayer diorama, and I don't think it was sold gangbusters, so I don't think it's something that we would necessarily do again. But God forbid if that did happen, if that was an option, I'd certainly like to do more stuff like that. But I think for now, we're happy to be able to just include them with figures. If people have to pay a little extra and get a figure with it, they got an extra figure, they can throw the figure away. They're just paying a premium price for the diorama. You know, people want us to sell our Ghostbusters diorama separately, but I don't even know how many of the Ghostbusters diorama we would sell, you know, if we just sold it by itself, because we're talking about a couple $100 to a few $100 diorama.
Yeah.
Whereas if you're buying it with the figures, you know, you're paying what, $375, I think, for a 15-piece diorama.
Yeah.
And it's expensive, but you're also getting 12 figures. And honestly, there's people who like the figures who don't want the diorama. So if you're really an enterprising gentleman, you could buy those 25 figures and then sell the figures, and you could probably make back most of your money and get whatever you were going to originally pay for the diorama. Probably, you know, come out a little bit ahead on the deal.
I like the fact that you offer. Well, at least like for Ghostbusters, for Gotham, and I think one of the other lines, that you have the 2 different price points. You have the figure and the piece and the accessories. Then you have the, I don't want to say dumbed down version, but
you know, it's just what works for Toys R Us and their price point back when they were still around. And you know, we did it for X-Files. We did it for Jay and Silent Bob. You know, we did it for a couple of different lines, and it worked. Universal Monsters, and it worked out really well. Star Trek, even we did for Star Trek. So you know, it was a really great system that we had going on. It's not really a system it's a system that's kind of there now with Kingdom Hearts, where we do single packs at Walgreens and 2 packs at Target, and then we'll do like a multi-pack at Specialty. We're playing around with that format right now as we move forward into doing more stuff from Kingdom Hearts 3. But you know, that print, hopefully we'll be able to implement that strategy with other retail partners besides that are not Toys R Us. But Walgreens seems to be happy with it so far. Target and Best Buy and Walmart, we've actually been able to get some stuff into as well. So we'll see how it goes in the future.
You answered my question. I was going to say, how has things been progressing since Toys R Us is no longer part of the food chain?
It seems like it's getting the slack is getting picked up by a lot of other retailers, and you know, not just, you know, GameStop with their expanding toy section, Barnes & Noble, Hot Topic, all companies.
Walgreens, you've been doing real good.
Walgreens, we've been doing great with their expanding. They've been expanding their collector section since before Toys R Us.
The Nightmare Before Christmas stuff seems to be flying out.
Yeah, they're selling gangbusters. Nightmare Before Christmas. They've got Kingdom Hearts. They got Marvel Mini-Mates now, and Foot Locker.
The Mini-Mates.
Yeah, they were doing the Mini-Mates at Walgreens too. Foot Locker just launched today in their flagship store in Times Square a new collectibles section.
Really?
So now you'll be able to get your collectibles at Foot Locker when you buy your sneakers, and they're going to be carrying some of our stuff there as well. I don't know what their rollout strategy is, but it's going to be at more than just that one store. It's going to be at multiple stores nationwide.
Really? They're actually setting up a collectible section. So while you're getting your shoes,
yeah, you
can get that. And as far as like what they're offering from you guys, do you have an idea? Or?
Yeah, I think right now, at least for the launch, they're focusing on New York. Since it's a Times Square location, they're doing a lot of New York City-based superheroes. Okay. So like your Daredevil, your Spider-Man, stuff like that.
The Netflix stuff.
Yeah, Netflix stuff. Okay. So I think you'll see some of that there. Whether that's something that's going to translate over to the nationwide, we'll see how that goes.
That's actually pretty cool.
It is. I'm excited about it. I'm not a shoe guy. I'm not a sneaker guy. You know, I've got my green Sauconys on, but it's very cool. You know, whenever I see something about licensed shoes that my ears kind of prick up, I'm like, oh, those are sneakers that I would definitely want to own. Yeah. But I can never afford them.
Because they're always a high price point.
But if it means that they'll do more stuff like that, more licensed shoes, and maybe get them into a more a reasonable price point, I'd be willing to definitely check them out.
I don't know if you're familiar with like Bait. It's a company, they do a lot of the specialty stuff, so they've done like a G.I. Joe release.
Really?
They've done a Spider-Man release, and then they have like the clothing to match it, but they also do collectibles.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, they're a fashion store with fashionable shoes, which are a little more expensive, but then they have their collectibles. So cool. It kind of sounds like that's what Foot Locker might be.
Yeah.
Who knows, but everything else is doing awesome. The statues look phenomenal. I was looking at them on the other side. Like I said, I was looking at Mr. Sinister. I was looking at the DC ones. Phenomenal work. The Mini-Mates.
Mini-Mates, yep.
How are the Mini-Mates doing? How are the Mini-Mates doing?
Mini-Mates are doing good.
Strong?
Where people have been asking us if there's some sort of a slowdown, but we're refocusing. We've got a couple new. We're going to do Castlevania. We're going to be doing John Wick. We're going to be doing the new license we're announcing tomorrow. There will be more Mini-Mates coming and more Marvel stuff at Walgreens.
You got the panel tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we got a panel tomorrow. 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock panel. We're going to do signings with the artists after that at 1:30 and 2:30. Our sculptors and our designers. So Mini-Mates are going, Vini-Mates are going strong. We've been doing the Kingdom Hearts at a lot of different locations. GameStop's been carrying them, Target's been carrying them, Walmart's been carrying them, so that's great for the Kingdom Hearts.
That's a big license. I really didn't know how big Kingdom Hearts was until
the excitement over Kingdom Hearts 3 is like crazy. Yeah. I mean, people have waited for decades for this. So, well, maybe I'm exaggerating. A decade. They've been waiting a long time.
They've been waiting.
So it's it's a very exciting time to be doing Kingdom Hearts stuff. But it's also very timeless because you've got the Mickey Mouse and Goofy and Donald characters, and you've got them in really cool, unique looks. And one of them that we're doing in Series 3 is the Tron look, Space Paranoid. So we get to do Tron and Sark, which is awesome. And then we also get to do these Tronified versions of Sora and Goofy, which are really cool. And then we got Mickey in his black Organization 13 coat, which is the bad guy group, if you don't know the game.
Yeah.
And so he's wearing like basically a black duster with he's got his keyblade, and he looks totally badass. When I say badass, he looks totally badass.
You mentioned John Wick.
Yes.
That was a surprise license when I saw that. You're doing a couple different, you're doing Mini-Mates of John Wick, you're doing statues of John Wick. and
Select. Select action figure. Yep. We showed pictures of it recently. It's not here at the show, but it's been solicited, so you can pre-order it now.
Are any plans? I know it's kind of early. Any plans on adding additional characters to John Wick, like Common's character? That would be a nice like.
I think as soon as we see the Keanu stuff is doing well, we're going to want to expand a little bit. Right now we're focusing on Keanu just because he's the star, but we have a Tarasov in the Minimates line. The Minimates line is going to incorporate a bunch of additional characters, and hopefully after we've had some success with some of the John Wick galleries, we can look at Common's character, look at Ruby Rose's character.
Ruby Rose, that would be a nice addition.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, I love her character. I'm blanking on her name in the movie.
Yeah, I can't remember her name, but I do remember her character, and she did a good job. I really like Common's character. Is the dog going to be part of that?
Yeah, the action figure comes with a dog.
With the dog.
I don't think he's in any of the statues because the statues are like one's at the Rome where he does the hit on the sister in Rome, or tries to do the hit, and one of them is and the second one is him coming through the door in the first movie, like an action thing. But he's already lost a dog at that point. But the action figure comes with a dog. And a bunch of weapons, pistols, knives, pencils.
Is there going to be like a bloodied up version or a regular version?
I don't know if we're gonna. I think we're gonna have a couple different. I think we're gonna do a couple different figures, so they'll represent different parts of the movie. So I think the action figure that we're doing is going to have some cuts on his face. That he probably carries throughout the film. Now that I think about it, but I don't know if we're going to necessarily do. We might end up doing a blood spattered variant of something at some point. Maybe more on the Vinimate side than on the action figure side, but we'll see. We might have some costume variants in the action figure side.
And that's going to be regular, like select size.
Select scale, yeah. Select scale, 7-inch, and in the select packaging with the additional accessories. I don't know what we're doing for dioramas at this point, if we're doing dioramas, but. No plans for a basic version at this point. It's going to be the $25 price point.
Okay. And Pacific Rim.
Yes.
How did that do?
Series 1, Gypsy Avenger did really well. Series 2, everybody did really well. And Series 3 is going to be coming out in the next couple of months.
And that's going to be the Kaiju?
No, Series 3 has the Kaiju drone, like the white one. And then 2 other guys, I'm blanking on their names. One of them is November Ajax. And one of them is... not Titan Redeemer, not Guardian Bravo. It's a Valor Omega.
Yes.
Yes. And then around the same time we'll get our Kaiju, which is Hakuja. I don't know how many Kaiju we're going to do. It may just be the one, but it's a really cool piece. We've got a production sample on the case, and he's got I counted. He's got 21 points of articulation.
Really?
A lot of that is pivot points, but he's got ball jointed neck, ball jointed shoulders, and he's got the hinged jaw.
Now that is the combined one?
No, Raijin is the combined one. And then there's Shrike-Thorn, who's got the spines. And Hakuja is, he's got 6 legs, and he's got a big, like, fanged lower jaw. Kind of like a plated back, kind of like a dinosaur and armadillo.
Okay.
He's a really cool looking, I don't know how they picked which one they did, but he's one of the cooler looking ones, I think. And I don't even remember what the name of the third guy is or what he looked like, but Hakuja, I know Hakuja just from the prototype. He's a really cool looking guy.
And I know we talked about this before, and obviously you just said it. Depending on how it does, will depend on if you do all 3 of them, and then if you do the combined one. The price point on Hakuja, that's going to be.
I think it's 50.
50?
Yeah.
Okay. So
pretty sure, or 50, 40 or 50. Yeah.
Okay. So it's a heavier piece.
Yes.
A lot of detail.
Yeah, it's a little heavier. It's gonna be different packaging. It's gonna be like a window box packaging, kind of like our gallery pieces, instead of the select action figure packaging.
Okay. Because the blister would be.
You have to package them backwards. This way, you can actually have them standing up, I think, and in the box. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that, but I believe that's how we're gonna do it.
Awesome. And since I'm here, you're the first person that allowed me to interview somebody.
What?
Like 4 years ago, 5 years ago, when I first started the channel, and I really appreciate that. Hopefully by the end of the con, I'll be hitting 10,000 subscribers.
That's fantastic. Congratulations.
And so it's really, it means a lot for me and I have a good relationship with you, and I love your products. So
great. Thank you.
And I'm not just saying that. I love his products. Marvel Select. If you watch any of my videos, I'm always asking about Marvel Select. But it was something that was pretty cool, and I just kind of want to throw it out there. Hopefully by the end of the con, I'm like 40 subscribers away or something like that.
That's awesome.
10,000 subscribers, and yeah, you were the first one, so it's cool. Right here at New York Comic Con about 4 or 5 years ago.
That's awesome, man. Tag me. I will retweet that stuff, and if I'm not following you, I will follow you, and we'll get that number up there. We got to do it, guys.
There we
go. Got to do it.
There we go.
Follow it.
And thank you for taking the time. It's a pleasure. As always, guys, Diamond Select Toys. You gotta support them and pick up everything. Pick up the select figures, because I want to see more of those Marvel ones. Statues, amazing. Everything's amazing. So you got 2 more days. You got a panel tomorrow. Enjoy New York Comic Con. If you can't be here, watch my videos. You'll see everything, and we'll see you guys soon.